Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to Popternative. This is the web show where we have digital dialogues in the worlds of social media, sports, and pop culture. And boy, do we have a great panel for all of you this afternoon. We are going to be talking about social media, music, sports. We're going to get it all in there. We've got a diverse panel. I'm quickly going to introduce the panel. First, we have guitarist for one of the most iconic pop punk bands of all time, in my opinion. We have Dave Baksh, aka Brown Sound from Sum 41. Dave, welcome to Popternative.
Thank you, and we definitely appreciate that opinion. I don't know if it's shared all over the world, but
well, I'm happy to have you on, and we're gonna talk about the new record and other stuff coming up. But so you're really busy now with the tour, so thank you for coming on.
No problem.
And we have, of course, you might have seen his stuff on the Vine, Esa Fungtastic, but we have Esa Fung, the social media sensation, is with us on Popternative. Esa, welcome to the show.
Well, hello, how are you?
Pretty good.
Thanks for having me on the show, man.
Yeah, no problem. It's crazy, both from Montreal and then boom, now we're here doing this.
Yeah, it's crazy, yeah. It's been a while, man.
Yeah, for sure. And it's the second time on Popternative. We have producer from Sports Illustrated. He manages all the SI NHL stuff. Michael Blinn is back with us. Michael, welcome back to the show.
It's a pleasure to once again be the fourth most popular guy in this show. Let's get this going.
Yeah, last time, Dave, we had Michael on. He was on with me, Chris Lund, who did the social media for the Leafs, and Craig Button from TSN. So,
damn, wow.
Got the but yeah, we'll start off with some opening remarks. Dave, new record, 13 Voices. You're back in Sum 41.
Yeah.
Why don't you, tell us a little bit about that record and how the tour is going so far?
Well, I mean, the record's kind of like a culmination of stories and experiences that the singer Derek went through. He went through some serious health issues where his liver failed, he collapsed, and woke up in a hospital bed after dying. So, I mean, there's a lot to write about after that record. And the name of the record, 13 Voices, basically comes from his recovery and all the voices in his head telling him to quit, but him kind of soldiering on through everything. So, I mean, the whole record is kind of a culmination of a band that just is so annoying and persistent and just refuses to die. So,
yeah, no, it's there's definitely those intense moments on the album, but at the same time, with you back in the band, it has those sounds that can go back from Does This Look Infected and Chuck. Was that something that you were trying to do, or was it kind of just to reinvent a totally new Sum 41 product?
Yeah, I think Chuck was basically the beginning of us starting to use things like different sounds, different instruments, things like violins, string sections, stuff like that. So I think this record was kind of like musically the natural progression. But I mean, we've kind of been absent for 4 years, since the last tour. So it's basically the growth of the band. That's what this record represents, I think.
Good. No, that's really cool that you're able to share that perspective. And Michael Blinn is with us, and the NHL season has started, so the work is definitely there's a lot of work to do, right, Mike?
Every day. I'm off today, and I just finished editing something that we're going to publish in about 2 minutes. I think similar to music, there's a new perspective every season. There's always something to look at. Last season it was the dawn of analytics, how teams are hiring people and trying to integrate all of this new knowledge. Whereas this season, it's a complete and utter youth movement, which has a lot to do with those analytics, but also with, working the salary cap and just this incredible 1/3 of a league that's, eligible for a Rookie of the Year trophy, and they're all incredible.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's going to be a lot of storylines, and you're one of those digital storytellers that has to, kind of monitor it and produce as you go. So it's a big job, and you're a busy guy. So we thank you for making the time. And we have Esa with us. Esa Fung is with us, and Esa is, like I mentioned in the beginning, 1.8 million followers on Vine. Tell us how that started. When did you want to be, did you want to, be this guy that had a big following on social media? I know you did it with a series of other viral internet guys, but tell us how that started. I think we'd like to hear that.
Well, it's actually a very interesting story. So, started off 3 years ago when Vine was just starting off, back when it was really popular. It's 400 likes in 1 hour was a lot. That was considered viral worthy. Nowadays, that would not be considered anything, even remotely close to being viral. I actually did it because I also wanted to do YouTube when I was in high school, but I never had the time, or really just too lazy to learn how to edit and make long form content. So when Vine came out, it was very easy. I was very just film whatever I found funny, stupid stuff on the streets, stereotypical jokes, the things I found funny that made me laugh. I would post it, and I didn't really aim to be big on it. I actually made the account because I was in a band before, and I wanted to promote music when I got bigger. But then I got big on comedy, and from there it just took off.
Yes, Esa was in a band called Massacre. I remember that.
Rock band, yeah. Good old times, man.
Yeah,
Some 41, man. You guys are a big inspiration for me. I can't believe it. You're actually here right now.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Didn't you guys open up for Black Cat Attack? One of Dave's old bands?
Me?
Yeah, I think Massacre played at Underworld with Black Cat Attack.
I think I remember that name. Was that Dave's old band?
Yeah, Dave.
Yeah. We did that. Oh man, I forget when we did that, but
a couple of years back when I was booking shows.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, that's the place with the massive staircase, right?
Yeah. Underworld.
Oh wait, that was your band? Shit, that's crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, I produced a couple records for that band, and then there were so many guitar parts we were adding during the record that they were like, okay, let's get a second guitar player. So I was like, all right, I'll join, because I didn't really have much going musically at the time. So I was in a band called Organ Thieves, and we had been basically screwed around so much by just circumstance, not even the people we were working with, just circumstance and our own egos, that I was like, okay, we need something new. And then hit up Black Cat Attack, and yeah, it was awesome to play fast punk rock again.
I never forget Brown Brigade, which was one of the most underrated Canadian metal rock records of all time, in my opinion. So
yeah, that was a bit of a tragedy. Like that, we ended off being told that we weren't going to be funded anymore after being offered a tour with Ozzy, and it was like a smart move.
But yeah, when Esa said, about the just using Vine because it was kind of new and easy at the time, it's a good first topic to talk about. So Sum 41 has a music video, Dave, for Fake My Own Death, and that video is about internet memes and GIFs, coming and attacking planet Earth pretty much, right?
Yeah. So, it's kind of like an over-exaggeration of basically the whole meme movement and what was going on with that. I mean, we just thought of everything that we thought was hilarious that came out in the past 10, 15 years and threw it in the video.
So my first question, Esa, maybe you could start this one off, is the current state of the internet. What have you seen over the past couple of years when you first started Vine and now kind of 1.8 million followers later? What have you seen in terms of the involvement of how people are creating content on social media, how fans are perceiving it? What is your input on that?
Well, honestly, at first, I find people are more creative and themselves when they're starting off because they don't really care about what other people think about them. I also experienced this personally for myself and people I hung out with, who I trusted, who you could think you could trust in this industry, but that's also a very bad thing to do. So I lost a lot of friends. You see they're making their content that they find themselves funny, but then later on, once they get big, they start getting these deals, and then they start getting their ego big. Their ego gets really big, and then they start using other people, pretending to be your friend. They're only your friend because they want to use your followers to get bigger, but no one's actually friends with each other anymore these days. I find.
Yeah.
Like when I go to LA now, when I go to LA and stuff now, it's just really sad. I see everybody who lives like in this Hollywood kind of lifestyle, but you're just a minor. You're not like a A-list celebrity or like a Z-list or like Y-list or anything, right?
Yeah.
So, and then they're living all this lavish lifestyle. They blow all this money for what reason though? Like they're not Hollywood celebrities. Everyone thinks they could be an actor. It's also very stressful at points because then your fans expect you to post something every day. But at the same time, I don't feel that kind of drive anymore to post something every day. Same time, like my agency also tells me that I have to tone down certain content because of brand deals, and then I'm not sure if I want to do that. The reason why I grew so fast is because I posted content I like, not because of the content that they like, you know?
Yeah. Well,
so it's very hard.
What you just identified, Michael, you could kind of we could take that and apply that straight to the hockey Twitter, hockey blog sphere as well, right? Specifically, that's the industry that you're working in, and you see that, and you see all these people trying to put something out there that gets all these retweets, all these clicks, all these impressions. But what happens when everyone's trying to do it, right? Kind of becomes this competitive blog sphere.
I think Esa's got a great point in that everybody thinks that they're funny. And hey, you probably are funny, but sometimes you're not. The beauty of the internet is everyone has a voice. The downside is that everybody has a voice.
It's true. Yeah.
I am completely aware of the fact that most of my tweets are just terrible puns, and they're not necessarily for you. They're not necessarily for you. They're for me. And if you happen to enjoy them, come on in. But if you don't, why do you have to say something negative? Why do you have to, push certain things? Basically just kind of do what makes you happy, and hopefully you're going to surround yourself with people that are in that same boat.
Now, Dave, to talk about that, you are someone that I think is really, as a professional musician who's played for many years, I feel like it's safe to say that you're someone that has adapted and accepted social media, especially on Instagram, because I see you very, very active on Instagram, getting the fans and getting the fans notified of what's going on in the life of Sum 41, what's going on in your life. You make a really cool effort of taking photos of the restaurants you're checking out when you're touring in Chicago or so. Do you think that musicians are in general accepting what social media is all about, or do you think that still a lot of people don't understand maybe how to use it or how to go with it, and they're just kind of gonna, like Esa said, maybe get their agencies involved? What do you think about the personal use of celebrities or musicians using social media?
I think it's it definitely is something that should be embraced by celebrities. I mean, because you can choose what you put up there. Your content is your own choice. I mean, there's no real kind of, you can't just go out there and just take your penis out or show all those things. Although I think Tom from Sum 41 does that a lot. But
Lenny Kravitz did that one time too.
Did he? And he got banned, didn't he?
Yeah.
You're not.
I think his pants just weren't ready for it.
Oh, geez. But I mean, as far as people my age and people in the industry, I'm 36 now, and it's like a lot of people my age either missed the boat or just kind of like the same as me, where it's like we like Instagram, we use it to keep in touch with people more than say gaining fans and stuff like that. But it's a useful tool for me to be able to let the fans know what I'm up to. And, if you want to come grab a slice of pizza with me at this pizza restaurant, come and do it, because you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm having fun in your city. It'd be rad to meet someone and maybe learn something new about the city.
One of the things one of the reasons why I started Popternative is I've always been a guy that's always been very into, sports and pop culture. I've been, a Sum 41 fan all my life. I've been a hockey fan all my life. do you think, and the panel can chime in on this, and maybe Esa or Mike, you want to start? Do you think that social media is making these like intersections and cross promotions of social media, sports, and pop culture more evident? Because here we are on a podcast, a musician, a producer for NHL Sports Illustrated, and a internet celebrity. So we have music, we have pop culture news, and we have sports. What do you think about those cross promotions? Does social media make it easier for them to happen, or do you what do you think about exploring that concept, Michael?
I think it's made it much easier to do it in a much more immediate sense. Now you can have anyone just do a Facebook live chat and answer questions, or just say whatever's going on in their mind. It doesn't have to be I don't necessarily have to talk about sports. I can try to talk about music. It's not going to go well, but I can try. It's so easy just to kind of get your voice out there. It's finding people who want to listen to it and really just kind of refining what you have to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I find it actually pretty easy. If you have the same kind of interest in whatever you're promoting. So for example, if Sum 41 was to promote the new song, I would love to do that. And my fans also, I like rock music, I like metal music. I'm also very into EDM. So anything music related, anime related, stuff like that, video game related, they'll like it as well too. But if I'm going to be promoting some kind of product like a car, no one's going to like that kind of stuff. It's going to be harder.
Mm-hmm.
Or sports per se, because I'm not a huge fan of sports, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. If you ask me to do something with NHL related, my fans will not be as engaging as opposed to me promoting a song on my profiles on any social media.
Yeah, no. Dave, what do you think about that?
I think he's absolutely right. Every time I'm like, I'm out at this field playing soccer, come play with me. People be like, go practice, you idiot! Don't play soccer.
Exactly.
And
but if you promote yourself saying that you're gonna do a private show at someone's house, then everyone's gonna come over and play ball and watch.
Yeah,
the
other day I posted a picture of Cone because it was one of those four screen or four section things where you just zoom in on the most hilarious thing that's happening in the photo, and it was Cone's face, and it was just he had this face on that just. Let me see if I can find the photo, but that got an incredible amount of likes, more likes than the announcement that I got engaged, which was this is crazy. So it was it was this picture of Cone right here. It's that face, man.
It's all about memes these days, though.
Yeah, totally.
It's all about memes these days. Is it?
Exactly. So, yeah, but I mean that got more likes than say me promoting my buddy's cafe in Oshawa that he just opened up. Mm-hmm. So,
I mean, Esa, you're gonna know that, and my sister and I can kind of relate to what you do because our dog is actually an Instagram celebrity as well.
Oh, really?
I think I've told you this many times. Little Leo the Morkie is at 158,000 followers on the gram.
No way, that's crazy. Holy shit, more than me.
Yeah.
Great, just one more person that we're talking about today that's more popular than Vic.
And he's 5 pounds.
I feel great.
When's he on the podcast?
Yeah. He's big. He's already been on. He was on with. He made an appearance when I had John Liu from TSN on, because
Sweet.
John Liu brought his little Morkie on. So then I brought Leo on. But the reason why I brought up Leo is Esa. When you start posting things and posting vines, you're gonna find patterns. You're gonna figure out what works, right? What times work, what kind of content works on given days. That all going back to what you said, Dave, about your buddy's restaurant in Oshawa, you getting engaged, and that face of Cone that you showed us. You're gonna kind of, the more you do it, kind of know what works and what doesn't work, right, Esa?
Exactly, yeah. So obviously, even when I first started posting on Vine, I would always ask people who post it more often than me, who have been on the app more often, to ask what a good time to post is. Obviously, it's not a good time to post when everyone's asleep. So you also take into account school times, especially on Vines. Kids are younger on the younger demographic. So what I used to do is post exactly at 3 to 4 p.m. every day Eastern, and I find that my Vines would do a lot better than as opposed to posting at 1 p.m. even though it's the same exact video. And it does also depend. It really all depends the time you're posting, because if your video does well within that time frame, a certain time frame, it'll be on the popular page, and then more people will see it. And that's how it works for every social media platform, not just Vine, like YouTube, Instagram. So Instagram used to have a popular page. YouTube has a trending now page. So it's all about like timing. It's like you gotta know when to target your audience.
Same thing too, Michael, where you're posting, articles on Sports Illustrated, right? There's going to be times where it works. There's going to be times that don't. But there might be times that in the hockey Twitter world are more peak times as compared to when Esa would post something too, right?
I mean, it's kind of interesting for us because we're also entrenched in things like search engine optimization, where if I publish something, the longer it marinates, the better it's going to, do in Google search return. Mm-hmm. And I realize just how nerdy I turned this conversation. I'm sorry. But I mean, we're also trying to figure out when the best time to tweet something out is, the best way to do it. If you're reading through and you say, hey, here's this one quote that kind of really encapsulates what you're trying to do, or here's something that people are just guaranteed to click on because it's weird and interesting and it's going to draw people in. And there is also a timing effect to that. If you do it before a game, during a game, the morning after a game, it's kind of taking a whole lot of things into play. So I completely understand when trying to post something and how to do it correctly.
Yeah, like I wouldn't post a video when it's like during a playoff game or something like that, because I know a lot of people in Canada will be watching that. So it's times like that. I know like 7 p.m. is a hockey night, and then I won't post a video at that time. It's too late. There's also dinner time too, so a lot of people will not be seeing the video. Like it's got a lot of things you got to take into account too. And I have a lot of fans from across the world, a lot of fans from Europe too. So it's hard for me sometimes to post at a proper time. Sometimes if I post a video later, I'll do well. Sometimes post a video earlier, I'll do well. It depends which demographic I want to reach. I want to reach the Americans or the Europeans.
Do you have to deal with things like second screen consumption?
What's that?
So that is that's when you're watching something on TV and you're saying, hey, I'd like to know a little bit more about that, and you're going to IMDb or you're looking up someone's Twitter feed, or in a conversation about what you're watching at the same time.
I don't really do that, but like sometimes if I need to find out more information, I'll Google. It's not very difficult. So yeah,
right.
I like to plan ahead my videos.
Shameless plug, but if you'd like to learn more about second screen consumption, go to Sports Illustrated's NHL section and find my article on NHL and second screen consumption.
Damn.
That was not intentional. I cannot.
It was. I was so happy you mentioned that, Blinn. I was like, yes, I can plug my article.
But I mean, that is a huge difference, though. That when you're watching sports, there is that whole thing where you want to be tweeting about it at the same time. You want to engage with other people that are still doing it. You want to look up a guy and say, hey, can I pick him up for my fantasy roster?
Yeah.
So there is that different element to how sports are trying to work in that same venue.
Yeah, like whether it's called like another word for it, Esa too. It's dual viewing, right? You're going to be watching TV and you're just going to have your phone. And you're all I know for a fact that you do that a lot. So you definitely maybe didn't know that there was actually terminology for it, but you are an avid consumer of dual viewing and second screen consumption.
Yeah,
that's what you do.
Yeah, I do that a lot. Definitely for sure.
Yeah.
Not right now, actually, surprisingly, but yeah, whenever I'm even watching a movie, going anywhere, I'm always on my phone constantly. So I didn't know there's terminology for that. That's actually very good. Mm-hmm. Learn something new every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But something I also wanted to talk about, shifting away from social media, but just about like entertainment and music, is Dave. So you're someone who are in a band that a lot of people like myself and like Esa and like Blinn, grew up listening to, and you are in many people's minds an iconic, influential band. So I have a few questions related to that, but first,
okay.
Right off the bat, how does that feel to kind of be someone who has played guitar riffs of some of the most iconic songs that have been in some of the most iconic movies of our generation?
I mean, I'm always thankful, of course, but I'm me. So I'm just I'm living my life. You know what I mean? As far as sitting there and, before bed being like, oh man, that time I played that riff. Fucking sweet. I never do anything like that. I've always been a pretty grounded guy. I even left the band at one point to become more grounded because I felt like I was kind of losing myself, right? So I think if you get caught up in that stuff, you end up like a few guys that were in some 2000s bands that we used to play tons of radio festivals with, and that completely lost themselves within their own celebrity and have no idea who they are. And I've always kind of tried to stay cool with people because those were the people that I looked up to as celebrities. So I mean, say what you will about Ozzy Osbourne, but he's still one of the most approachable guys in rock and roll. Mm-hmm. You can still go up to him and say, "Hey, how you doing?" and he'll, shake your hand and say, "What's up?"
But I've heard from a lot of people too that have met you before at shows that you are a very approachable guy, and you love, having conversations with people, at the merch table or outside the venue, and it's just. Does it ever come into your mind though that like, wow, like these people are not necessarily worshiping me, but these people are like I'm having dialogues with people that use my product, my content, my music to kind of get through tough times or get through an exam or write a paper or go to the gym, right? They're using your medium to get through life, right?
Well, like I said, I never think about it when I'm just sitting there alone and thinking about stuff. I'm usually thinking about stuff like, oh man, I gotta pay this bill, do this, do that, right? But when you're actually engaged with somebody and speaking to them and they get to tell you something like that, like we were discussing before the podcast happened, that's huge. That's massive because I've got music, I've got athletes, I've got, concerts, games, things like that have definitely influenced my life. You know what I mean? And to know and have the knowledge that it's what I've done helps those people get through their day, or like you said, do anything. It's massive. It's crazy. It's not what my initial thoughts were when I started playing guitar. My initial thoughts were, okay, I'm going to learn this riff and try to, impress the boys.
Yeah,
that's why you're down to earth, man. That's the best kind of celebrity to be. It's just like to be a normal human being. Like honestly, people just these days they think they're such hot shit. They just can't talk to normal people. That's why I like hanging out with people who are like don't really care about my fame and stuff like that. Who don't want to be friends with me just because they want to make a video for my followers. Just want to hang out because it's just chill. That's the thing. And like a lot of people tend to forget, like even your fans tend to forget that you're just a human being, and they start getting nervous trying to talk to you. There's no reason to, because you're not any better than them. You're just a person that got a little bit big. That's it,
Yeah. It kind of broke my heart a little bit hearing about the people that you came up with as far as Vine and social media, kind of moving out to Hollywood and starting this kind of clique that seems really fake and plastic. And the same kind of thing happened to us when we were kind of at the peak of our career. But I mean, once, that kind of 10 years passes and, people end up on Skid Row and some people end up doing it and staying true to what they wanted. I mean, you'll find that maybe some of those friends will peek back around and be a little more real for you. Because that's
maybe they'll be real. Maybe they'll be real. Maybe they just come back to you being your friend because you're getting to their point of popularity. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And at that point, you can never trust anyone anymore. Like, yeah, I've lost friends, but I never really cared. I was prepared for that too. I knew this industry was like, very like hit or miss. Same with music, same with anything that's acting, entertainment related. It's all the same thing.
But but also related to that, and Mike, we've talked about this before too, is what you're talking about, this like, I feel like social media becomes an issue for that stuff because the accessibility becomes more, you're more accessible on social media, so people can kind of see that you're doing something cool and just like that message you on Twitter and kind of want to get it, like want to get involved and want to have like maybe a piece of the pie, right? There's a lot of that, you know. You'll be doing something and you won't hear from someone for 2-3 years, and then you get, you know, a promotion, and then boom, you hear from someone. It's gonna happen a lot, but I feel like that's an issue that the accessibility of social media presents. Mike, what do you think about that?
I think a great example of that is a guy like Ken Bone, who, you know, asked the question and got blown up into a pseudo celebrity overnight, and within 2 days was offering out Uber codes to make himself money. Yeah. Like, you know, you can't get mad at the guy for calling him a fake when A, you don't know him, B, created a pseudo celebrity, and C, dude's just trying to make a living. Like,
yeah,
you know, there was a lot of blowback over it really quickly just because the guy was trying to leverage himself in a way he had never done before. So I think there's a lot of that danger out there.
Yeah, Dave, what do you think about that?
I think it's absolutely true. I mean, you can totally relate to that in music. I mean, look at Justin Bieber. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, he put out a song, and then people were just trying to annihilate a 16-year-old. Mm-hmm. Hey, the dude was a child. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, but he's just doing his thing. And I mean, I agree. Anyone is allowed to do their thing, and you know, it's unfortunate when people feel like their opinion matters more than someone's feelings and how someone should live. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we had Chris Crippen, who plays drums in Headley. He came on the show last year, and he was kind of talking a lot about that because Headley was a band that changed their style and sound a lot over the years and got a lot of heat for that. And he was literally like, I hate to sound like I don't care, but he's like, you know what? I don't care what people think about it. Like, I'm just going to make my... He was saying that, and I thought it was one of the most real things that's ever happened on Popternative, where he was just like, we are making product. We are going to change it up from time to time, and we're going to grow as a band, and we're going to, you know, do it differently. And I'm sure Sum 41, Dave, you know, with you in the band, but also you not like when Tom came in as well, the styles changed. So Sum 41 kind of got a little bit of flack for the changing of the style as well. But you have to grow as a band too, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think the most important lesson to learn is that there's some people in the world that believe the world is happening to them. Like they're centered and the world is just... And I think you'll find that those are the people that complain a little bit more and get a little bit more upset when things don't go their way. Yep. And then there's some people that realize that, you know, we're passengers in a big, massive thing. So I don't know. And to me, the people that feel like the world that is happening to them, they're the ones that are commenting on YouTube like, yo, fuck this dude, he sucks. You know?
I want to make a comment about that actually. What I found is that people who make these comments, these hate comments, usually don't actually hate you. They just try to get your attention. Yeah. I have to agree. I have to admit that when I was younger, when I used to watch YouTubers, I used to comment hate comments for fun, just to get that guy's attention because it works. You know, out of all the nice comments you see one hateful comment, like, yo, who is this guy? Fuck this guy. You're like, oh, check it out. I was like, oh, thanks for getting my attention. You know, there's a lot of people, a lot of trolls on my channel. I talk to them, and they're like, oh, I was surprised you actually answered me. I didn't mean to like say that to you. I just wanted to get your attention. I'm like, well, it worked. I don't hate it. And I feel like also at the same time too, to be successful in this in the entertainment industry is to be strong enough to handle these hate comments. Yeah. Can't let people that don't care but you don't know bring you down for no reason. Actually, I love hate comments. I just love reading them. It's hilarious. And the more hate, I just find it's like the more successful you are. That means you are making an impact with whatever you created. You know, so you're standing out.
So, like, what were some of the coping mechanisms that you used to do that? Because my fiance's son really, really wants to start a YouTube channel, and he's 9, right? So we're kind of cautious as to how out there we want the videos. You know, we're disabling comments first, but like eventually he's going to want to open up to comments. Like, what was the kind of point where you were like, it just deflects off like Kevlar?
I feel like, okay, well, at 9 years old, like that's when I actually was growing and learning how to handle all the hate, because growing up, I was bullied a lot for being Asian. Moving from Edmonton, I was in a Chinese school, then came to Montreal. It was like all white people, and a lot of just bullying me, making all these stereotypical jokes that I make these days. Where I learned eventually that instead of like getting angry at them and crying about it, I would just like embrace it and make a joke with them. So eventually that just like helped me out to cope with my with all the hate that I'm able to do today. And I feel like don't hide the comments from the kid. Try to tell them the truth about the world, that people are going to be really cruel. But at the same time, you don't know these people, so it doesn't matter. And if they're commenting these comments, it means you're making whatever you're doing is working, because you're getting their attention, you're getting people. At the same time, if people will hate you, people will also love you at the same time. There's never just a full 100% hate on anything. Think about Trump. Not everybody hates Trump. People still love him, regardless of what he says. There'll never be 100% hateful people, you know? Never.
Good point.
Maybe more hate than love, but who cares? There's still going to be people who love you.
True.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna have to wrap things up, but I really, really, really appreciate all three of you coming on the show, taking the time.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, and very quickly, just some closing remarks, Dave. The band's on tour right now. The band just played the Fan Fest at the Heritage Classic on Sunday in Winnipeg. What could we expect from Sum 41 in the remaining months of 2016 and 2017?
Well, we got this tour to finish up. We finish up around November 7th. And then we're home for a few weeks and head into South America to play Brazil for the first time, which is going to be wild. Going to be spending about 2-3 weeks there. And then for 2017, it's more touring. It's looking like we're going to come back and do a Canadian run in the summer of 2017. So, yeah. So
Sweet. I was going to ask you that when you come to Toronto. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Whenever you guys need tickets, just hit us up, right?
Nice. Awesome.
Blinn just had, as soon as you said that, the biggest smile on his face.
Blinn, come, because we can make horrible dad puns together. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, this is all I want in life.
Awesome. Well, Esa, appreciate you coming on. What have you been working on lately?
Right now I'm focusing on YouTube and longer form content, so keep an eye on that. Huh?
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Sweet.
And Blinn's just on the hockey Twitter all day long posting.
It explains the gray hairs.
Perfect. Well, thank you all for coming on. And Dave, seriously, with the band on tour now, and it's amazing to have someone like you come on the show. Sum 41 is my favorite band of all time. You know this.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is awesome.
He's lying.
Well, man, you booked bands that I was in when the bands had no pull, no draw, anything like that. Pulled us into the cuff, even in Montreal. So it's huge, man. It's massive for us, and this is a no-brainer. We're buds, so yeah.
I can't believe we played a show with you. That's amazing. I didn't know. that's so crazy. I didn't know. I didn't connect the two together. I thought Sum 41 was still together back then. That was shit.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Well, no, they were. They were back. They were still a band, but you weren't. You left the band, right, Dave?
Yeah. I left the band around 2006, and then came back in 2015.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, man.
Well,
congrats, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, Dave, thanks a lot. Esa, thanks. Blinn,
Thanks, man.
Thanks a lot. This has been Popternative. You can catch previous episodes of Popternative on our YouTube channel, and you could follow us on Twitter, and you could follow Dave on the gram. Dave, what's your handle?
At Dave Brown Sound.
Yes, do that. And Esa Fantastic?
At Esa Fung, ESAFUNG. That's my real name.
Perfect. And at NHL Blinn, because of course NHL, right?
Yep.
Well, thanks everyone, and have a great one.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.